All right, hey everybody, welcome to Down Home Backyard Gardening. I want to can the carrots that I harvested from Monday. Now, I've never heard of canning carrots. I don't know how many of y'all out there have, but I was at a farmer's market a couple weeks ago and I saw a jar of okra that had carrots in the jar also. So I bought the jar because I wanted to see what the canned okras taste like, and they're great. So today, because the weather outside is absolutely horrible, we're gonna can some carrots. Okay, so right now, right off the bat, I've got the pressure cooker water warming up. I've got a pot to cook the carrots in, and I have another pot going just to have extra hot water. So what I wanna do right off the bat is take the carrots from this and chop them up. Okay, now I've got them all chopped up. The next step is going to be to boil the carrots. Now we're following this recipe right here. And that recipe comes out of this book right here, the Ball Blue book. Apparently this thing is a really good canning book. My mom gave it to me last year, and apparently this thing's worth some money. Didn't know, so I'm going to utilize it. So what it says to do is to boil the carrots, bring it to a boil, then lower it down to simmer for 5 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, and there we go. Now while the carrots simmer, what I want to do is not just do a jar of carrots, but I want to add a little flavor to it. So we're going to go ahead and take care of these other ingredients while the carrots are cooking. So I love jalapenos. And if you all saw the harvest video from earlier this week, you know I harvested some good jalapenos. So we're going to add some jalapenos into this jar and some garlic. Okay, so for the jalapenos, I'm just going to cut them just to where the flavor can come out. That's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. And I'm only going to do 2. I was thinking of doing more, but I think those 4 will be fine. And then for the garlic, this is not garlic that I've grown. So for the garlic, I'm only going to do 2 cloves. I don't want to go too heavy on it. And I like to chop them in half just to be sure that the garlic flavor is there and coming out in the canning process. That's it. So we will add these to the bottom of the jar once we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so I was really hoping to have enough carrots to do 2 of these pint jars, but I think I'm only gonna have enough to do 1. So that's fine though. The process is the exact same whether you're doing 1 jar or a gajillion jars. Just follow the process and follow the recipe or the instructions that are in that book. So it's real important to make sure that you not contaminate this part of the lid. So we're going to set that off to the side. What you want to have are one of these. Of course, I'm holding it wrong. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sit this jar in the pressure cooker and let the water start heating up and cleansing this jar. Okay, so the way I do it is I just lower it in nice and slow. Let the water fill it up. And then just leave it alone and let it start boiling. Now once the jar is ready to come out, you do not want to put the jar straight from the boiling water onto a cold countertop. So make sure you've got a towel or something ready to take the jar out of there and onto something that's not going to shock it and shatter the glass. That'd be a bad day. Okay, once the carrots are done, we'll be right back. All right, so the carrots are finally about done, and these jars are very clean. So we are going to take them out. Okay, so what I do with this, and you want to be very slow and careful. You just want to drain the water out, but you don't want the water to come back up these tongs and get you because it's boiling. So we're just going to get the water out. Then we're going to sit them right there on the towel. And I went ahead and did both of them just because I think I might have enough carrots for 2. We'll see. Maybe not, but I'm hoping. So again, there we go. Water's out. Sit them there. And that's what you want to do. You want them to be safe, not on here which is cold. What we're gonna go ahead and do is the recipe calls for a half a teaspoon of canning salt. Now this is not iodine salt or sea salt or pink salt. This is canning salt. It's a totally different type of salt. I don't know what makes it different. If any of you all do know the answer to that question, drop it down in the comments. I would love to be educated. But they say canning salt. I went and got canning salt. I'm gonna go ahead and put the half a teaspoon in the jars. Just so that's out of the way. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the carrots off and put them in the jars. Okay, so the jars aren't too hot now, but we wanna go ahead and get the carrots out and start packing these jars with the carrots. I think I might have enough for 2 jars. Of course, I forgot to put the garlic and the jalapenos in, so we'll just put them right there. Do it on the fly. This jar is getting really hot now because these carrots are very, very, very hot. And that's all we're going to do right there. You have to remember that when you're putting water in fact, we're going to take this one out and that one out. That when you're putting water in, you have to leave an inch headspace. Okay, so this one is ready to be filled with water. And I'm going to use the water out of the pot back here that's boiling. It's just clean water. The carrots were not in that water. This is clean water. And there we go. It's about an inch of headspace right there. And then you're going to tap the bottom, and you want to make sure you get all the air bubbles that are down below up. You don't want the air bubbles down like that bubble right there. You want to get that bubble up. So if you have to, use something that you can get down in there to move everything around to get the air bubbles up. I'm going to take the lid, put the lid back on, take the ring, and once you get it to where it doesn't move, you just a little bit more, and you're good to go. Yep, right there. Now we're going to go ahead and do what we can in this jar, and then they're going to go in the pressure cooker. Move everything around. Just had a big air bubble come up right there. And there we go. Okay, same process. Just put the lid on. Whoops. Get it down to where it stops turning on its own, and then just a little bit more, and you're done. Okay, now. All right, now that the jars are done, we're going to go ahead and get them in the pressure cooker. Same thing. Take your tongs. Up and in. Okay, and there we are. Now there's probably about a half an inch of headspace between, see all the air coming out of the jars right there? That's the heat. So we're gonna get the lid on it and get this thing going. Okay, so the lid is on. I can turn everything else off. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the weight. Now the recipe calls for using the 10-pound weight. So this is 5 pounds. This one is an extra 5. So the combined of these two are 10. And then I have another little ring that would make it 15. But this one calls for a 10-pound weight. Once that starts to jiggle, we got about 25 minutes. And then we'll turn the heat off. And then once this drops back down, we'll be able to open up the pressure cooker safely and get the jars out. So now we're just waiting for the weight to start shaking. So about 7 minutes ago, I said we'll be right back. This is starting to slowly chime, but that popped up. So the pressure inside is really, really, really starting to build. We'll be right back. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. Now this is starting to rock. So we're gonna turn the heat down just a little bit, because you want that to be in a nice, consistent rocking motion, kind of like what it's doing there. but we're gonna try to maintain it at that place. So 25 minutes from now, and we will be done. Okay, so that was the timer. We're gonna go ahead and turn off the heat. So the fire's off. Now we're just gonna wait until that drops down before we can open up this lid. So again, I sure wish it went as fast in real life as it does in this video, but we'll be right back. All right, everybody. So this is finally done. This took forever, I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. I was doing other things in the garden. All right, let's crank this thing open and get those jars out. Okay, so the most important thing is that this went down, and I took the weight off, and that also let more air out. So there should be no pressure in here. Yeah, so we're safe. See that? Slid right open, nice and easy. Now when you open this, because this is still really, really hot, just be really careful. Ooh, okay. So they're not cracked or anything. So that's good. Still a lot of air bubbles coming up in there. Once again, I'm gonna reach in, grab a hold, pull them up, and sit them right there on that towel. And then same thing with this one. Get the water off the lid. Looks pretty good. Look at that. That's so cool. All right, sit it there. Oh, you can see the jalapenos and the garlic up at the top right there. But look at that. It is still going. Wow. Okay, so there's still water on the top of this lid. So we're just going to get the water off. And if you can tell, that little dot is the center. It's still up. Same with that one. So as these cool, you will hear a very audible pop whenever they're done and they're sealed. Right now, they're not sealed. They're just cooking. And look at that. They're still going in there. All right, everybody. So that's it, though. That's everything you have to do in order to can carrots using a pressure cooker. Now, again, the recipes can be different. If you have a bigger jar, you need more salt. You just got to go off the recipes for what size jar you're using and also what type of vegetable. I'm going to have a video coming out here in a week or two about wax beans and how to can wax beans. That one I'm excited about because last year I canned green beans and they were so good, like so good. So I hope the wax beans will do the same. Everybody, if y'all enjoyed this video, please share it, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I would love for you all to join us on this journey of gardening. And until next time, everyone, take care, God bless, continue to shine bright and harvest hard. I'll talk to you again real soon.